Something is happening in the Bravo universe that nobody expected. Not this early, not this dramatically, and definitely not with this level of shockwaves. Because after years of silence and a prison sentence that seemed to put a permanent end to her reality TV reign, Jen Shah is officially coming home. And the timing? December 10th. Right before the holidays. Right when the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is hotter than ever. And right as viewers start asking the one question Bravo never wanted to face, is Jen Shah coming back, or is this the end of her story forever? Before we dive into the twists, because trust me, there are twists, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Things are about to get messy. Her release date landed like a bomb across social media. People magazine broke the news first. Jen Shah, once sentenced to 6.5 years behind bars at Bryan Federal Prison Camp, is being released after serving only 2.5. A reduction so big, fans couldn't believe it. Instantly, Instagram exploded with comments, reactions, and theories. But the loudest conversation wasn't about her freedom. It was about Bravo. Because no matter how far she'd fallen, Jen Shah wasn't just any housewife. She was the lightning rod, the storm, the storyline, the chaos. The moment she left, RHOSLC changed forever, and now she's walking back into a world that moved on without her. Her manager, Chris Giovanni, issued a statement that poured gasoline on the fire. He said Jen has grown, reflected, evolved, that she's not the same woman who left for prison in 2023, that she's ready to show everyone the woman she's worked hard to become. To some fans, those words sounded like a redemption arc begging to be filmed. To others, it was a warning. Jen Shah is preparing for a comeback. But if anyone can shut down speculation with a single comment, it's Andy Cohen. And Andy has never been subtle when it comes to Jen. Last year, when he was asked if she'd return, he looked almost puzzled, like he couldn't believe people were still asking. I mean, Jen is incarcerated, he said. I don't know when she's getting out. That seems off the table. And that was before she cut her own chances even deeper. Before he admitted publicly that he was turned off by her behavior, the telemarketing scheme, and even the list of demands she made for the one-on-one interview she wanted before her sentencing. He tried to set it up. She made it impossible. Eventually, he dropped it altogether. I don't care about it anymore. I'm over it, he said on Andy Cohen Live. So when a fan asked him during a recent taping of Watch What Happens Live whether there was any chance, even a tiny one, of Jen Shah returning to RHOSLC, Andy didn't dodge. He didn't hesitate. He didn't soften it. He said, Jen Shah, I never want to see again. And that one sentence instantly became the moment people replayed over and over. Because Andy Cohen rarely speaks that definitively, especially about someone who shaped an entire franchise. The message seemed final, but then everything shifted. Because just hours after Andy's declaration, Jen Shah's team posted something on Instagram that flipped the narrative upside down. From management, a respectful conversation has already been had with Bravo behind the scenes, and there are no hard feelings. Suddenly, the door that Andy slammed shut seemed cracked open. Fans started asking, if they really talked, what was said? If there are no hard feelings, does that mean no bridge was burned? Or is this just Jen's camp pushing hope into a story Bravo already walked away from? But the biggest twist wasn't even Andy or Jen. It was the fans. Because Instagram flooded with comments demanding a comeback. Bring her back. If they don't cast Jen Shah back, it is a mistake. She needs just a one-episode special. Let her talk. People want closure. They want answers. They want chaos. They want that unpredictable fire the show hasn't had since season 3. And as much as Bravo tries to move forward, they can't pretend Jen never existed. She is woven into the DNA of Salt Lake City drama. But here's the other side of the fan reaction. A side just as loud. RHOSLC is thriving without her. Season 6 is stacked with Heather Gay, Lisa Barlow, Whitney Rose, Meredith Marks, Mary Cosby, Angie Kitsanovas, Brittany Bateman, and the wildcard of the season, Bronwyn Newport. The dynamics are unpredictable, alliances are shifting, and for the first time in years, the show feels balanced. The shockwaves from Jen Shah's early release didn't just hit social media. They rippled through the entire Bravo ecosystem. Because whether viewers love her or hate her, one fact is impossible to ignore. Jen Shah is a storyline all by herself. And storylines like hers don't just vanish. They wait. They build tension. They quietly turn into the kind of television moments networks can't resist. But behind the frenzy, there's something deeper. Something Bravo hasn't publicly admitted, but fans can feel. RHLC has evolved. Yes. It's thriving. Yes. But the shadow of Jen Shah has lingered over every season since her departure. Every trip, every argument, every reunion, there was always this unspoken question hanging above the cast. What would this look like if Jen were still here? And now that she's returning to the outside world, that question is louder than ever. Inside sources claim that Jen has spent her last months in prison preparing for something. Journaling, writing, reflecting, planning. Her manager said she wants to show everyone the woman she's worked hard to become. And those words aren't accidental. They're strategic. They sound almost like a pitch, a carefully crafted message aimed not just at fans, but at the network. And if that's true, then every step from this point forward matters. Meanwhile, Andy Cohen finds himself in a unique position. On one hand, he's the executive producer who swore he never wanted to see Jen Shah again. On the other, he's the same producer who knows the meaning of ratings. And nothing generates viewership like a redemption arc or a downfall. Jen Shah delivers both simultaneously. But then something unexpected made fans stop in their tracks. That mysterious Instagram story from Jen's team claiming there were respectful conversations with Bravo. No details, no tone, no screenshots. Just a sentence, simple but powerful. A sentence that could mean absolutely everything, or absolutely nothing. Fans immediately began dissecting it. Was it just damage control? Was it shade at Andy? Was Bravo trying to keep the peace? Or was someone hinting that the door might not be as closed as Andy publicly claimed? But the tension didn't just stop with Bravo. It reached the cast itself. Because if Jen Shah ever returned, even for a single episode, Salt Lake City would erupt. Heather Gay, who once defended Jen until it damaged her own credibility, has finally rebuilt her footing. She has a best-selling book, a solid fan base, and a voice on the show that no longer revolves around Jen. A comeback could shake the foundation Heather fought hard to stabilize. Lisa Barlow? She has zero interest in revisiting the chaos Jen brought. She's moved forward, built new alliances, and established herself as a central figure without the explosive energy Jen used to bring. Whitney Rose? She spent seasons trying to expose Jen's truth. A return would force her to confront the woman who once bulldozed her emotionally, and viewers know Whitney holds nothing back. Mary Cosby? She exists in her own alternate universe, but even she has limits, and Jen was one of them. Angie Katzenevas? Brittany Bateman? They weren't around during Jen's reign, but they've heard everything. And reality TV newcomers always crave a moment. Conflict with Jen would hand them that moment on a silver platter. Then there's Bronwyn Newport, the wild card, the unpredictable force producers love because she isn't afraid of confrontation. Jen returning would be an irresistible spark, one that could ignite a new feud instantly. So the question isn't just whether Bravo wants Jen back, it's whether the cast can survive her return. But maybe the biggest twist is this. Even with all the pushback, all the drama, all the rumors, fans still can't stop imagining her return. And that fan pressure is powerful, because Bravo listens. Not always publicly, not always instantly, but the network follows the response. And this time, the response is intense. Let's be honest, this moment feels like Bravo is standing at a crossroads. One path is clean, polished, drama-light reality TV. The other? A storm. A comeback story that would break the internet. And right now, the storm is getting harder to ignore. Because every time Andy says never, fans say bring her back. Every time critics say it's impossible, Jen's camp posts something cryptic. Every time the cast stabilizes, something shakes the ground again. It feels like the beginning of a collision course, one that's been building since the day Jen walked into court in 2023. And now, with her release days away, the countdown begins. Not just for Jen, but for Bravo, for the cast, for the fans, for the franchise itself, because something big is coming. Something Bravo will eventually have to face. And the return of Jen Shah isn't just a possibility anymore. It's a question with consequences.